Arjuna Uvacha Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetrajnameva Cha Etadveditumicchami Jnanam Jneyam Cha Keshava Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetramityabhidhiyate Etadyo vetti tam prahuhu Kshetrajna iti tadvidaha Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi Sarvakshetreshu bharata Kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam Yattajnanam matam mama Tatshetram yaccha yadrikcha Yadvikari yatascha yat Sacha yo yat prabhavascha Tatsamasena me shrinu ऋषिभिर्बहुधा गीतम् छन्दोभिर्विविधैः पृथक् ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव हेतुमद्भिर्विनिश्चितैः महाभूतान्यहङ्कारः बुद्धिरव्यक्तमेव च इन्द्रियाणि दशैकं च पञ्चचेन्द्रियगोचराः इच्छा द्वेषः सुखं दुःखं सङ्घातश्चेतना धृतिः एतत् क्षेत्रं समासेन सविकारमुदाहृतम् अमानित्वमदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यमात्मविनिग्रहः इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अनहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्युजरा व्याधिः दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम् असक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः पुत्रदारगृहादिषु नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम् इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु
So greetings from Dubai. Today, as you all know, is the book launch and talk at Dubai. And so you can see a slightly different background. Now, that's all for the gossip for today. Next time I can tell you how it went. Last time in the Gita, we studied 3 qualities of the Jnani. The first quality was Indriyartheshu Vairagyam, Vairagya towards the Indriyas. The second quality was Anahamkaraha, lack of ego. Now, very interestingly in life, if you start thinking of these things, one day it may occur to you, are these things all outdated? We're studying something that was like 10,000 years ago. We're starting a university on that. Are these things really outdated? Should we be doing this at all? What's your answer to that? Suppose somebody tells you, why are you doing this? Oh, outdated, you know what? Anahamkara and all this. Oh, what are you talking about? Forget it. Today's zamana, you have to have ahamkar. You have to say, in my CV, I did this, I did that. And you have to bada chada bolne ki zarurat hai. What anahamkara? You know, in Vairagya Shatakam, it's a beautiful book. If you ever get a chance to read it, I'm not recommending it. Please read one book and learn this one. But if ever it comes that you do get a chance, then it says this very beautiful line. It says, in this pursuit of my desires, I committed the sin of recounting my virtues. When you write your CV, that's what you say, right? I did this, I did that. Nowadays, I'm reading all these CVs. This I did, I'm so great at this, I'm so great at that. Or in the pursuit of my desires, I performed the sin of recounting my virtues. Now, if you don't do that, in this world today, where are you going to stand? You don't write a CV only. You don't tell people what you did. Then you'll be like the Vedanta Wisdom Trust. We are a secret service organization. Nobody knows what we do. What is the use of that? It's just outdated concepts. The thing what we don't get is the connection between the person we are and our life. We just don't seem to get that connection. Do I have to write a CV? Yes, you have to write a CV. Should I not say what all I've done? No, under certain conditions, you'll have to say it. The ego is not in saying it. The ego is in giving yourself more importance than due. When I understand that there is not a single thing in this world that I'm capable of doing on my own, I just can't do anything. And yet I must do my thing. So when I'm focusing on doing my thing, I do it for others. And when the thing is done, I recognize the contribution of others. Without my doing my part, it's not going to happen. Many people, when I go to them and I meet people, I say, Bhiksham Dehi, we need money for the funds. Please give me something. Please give me something. I have to go and say to them. And then they say, don't worry, the funds will come, everything will happen. Excuse me, my question is, what are you doing about it? Not everything will happen. Most people say, everything will happen. You are doing it. This is bound to happen. If anybody in this world can do it, you can do it. It is going to happen. I'm so sure. Excuse me, sir. What are you doing? Don't worry about what I'm doing. So everybody has this thing. Oh, it will happen. It'll happen. You've got to work for it. So we are not willing to do our part. Or we do our part and we believe we've done so much. These are wrong concepts. Now, if somebody asks you, suppose now Surekha, she is the CEO of her organization. So when she goes for an interview, or I don't know, however they get CEOs, they chat with them or whatever they do to have a CEO, then they say, okay, so what have you done? And suppose she says, oh, so far I've done nothing in my life. They'll say, Arey, how can we make you our CEO if you've done nothing? Many people come on stage and say, oh, I don't know anything. And if you don't know anything, why are you trying to teach us? You please go learn first. So it's not false modesty. It is not trying to pretend you're not something you are. Now, she has done amazing things. She has worked in Syria and she has worked in all sorts of very difficult and complicated positions. She habitat, right? She puts up homes for people who don't have them and are displaced, like Latur earthquake or Syria, or just difficult things and the difficult situations. Now suppose somebody calls her some organization that is an NGO and says, please come and be CEO for us, and what have you done in this whole thing of habitats? And she says, oh, I did nothing. They'll say, Ari Baba, then we don't want you, Baba. We want people who have done something. So it's not about not saying clearly what you have done in the context that it's required. Ego is just giving yourself a little more importance than it is due. It is not egoless to say, oh, my team did it. Your team cannot do it without you. You have to know what is supposed to be your contribution and that you have done that, whatever it is you're supposed to do. So when we talk about these concepts, it starts becoming irrelevant if we don't understand them in context. This is not lip service we are paying to things. Oh, we must be good, we must be egoless, we must be detached. Indriyartheshu vairagyam. Detachment towards the objects of the senses. I'm in the wrong place to talk about that. If you just go on the streets of Dubai, they're shouting out all the top brands, all it makes you seem like, oh my God, you have to have the Samsung, whatever, Ultra, something or the other, big hoarding, massive hoarding. That hoarding is bigger than most buildings in Mumbai. I mean, massive, and it's just, you go to Dubai Mall, and it's shouting out at you that get these things and then you will be so happy. How many people will understand that buying a cell phone is a tool? It's a very useful tool, but it's a tool. Your happiness is not dependent upon it. Money is a tool. It's a very useful tool, but your happiness is not dependent on it. I mean, it's wonderful, right? If you have money, it's the difference between going by business class and going by economy. It's the difference between, I was coming, Vivek Oberoi was also there. I mean, he was also traveling. So cool for him, right? I'm standing patiently in my line. He walks up to whatever business and he's like, top of the world. And then he's taken off wherever, gone straight to the plane. Now this is all good. So much time saved. The rest of us mere mortals standing in the queue. Are we less happy than him? He has more conveniences than us. And wonderful, lovely to have them. If we get a chance, we should also have them. Why not? But why is it that I will assume that this gentleman is happier than me simply because this happens in his life? That is called vairagya. You are not giving the sense objects more value than due. Just like you didn't give yourself more value than it is due, you don't give objects of this world more value than it is due. So these are the three qualities, indriyartheshu vairagyam, anahamkaraha, janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam. And you don't give your life also more value than it is due. This is difficult for us because at the end of the day, the most important thing for every single one of us is our own life. What will we give up our life for? Anything. And those who don't think of this, are they going to be immortal? Your life is ebbing away regardless of whether you use it well or you use it badly. Isn't it? It's not like if I gave up my life to some noble cause, then okay, my life is given up. But if I don't give up my life for some noble cause, then I have my life. You don't have your life anyway. Both ways you don't have it. In fact, when you don't give up your life for a noble cause, you give up your life for an ignoble cause. Isn't it true? If I have nothing important to do, if I have nothing great to achieve, then what am I doing instead? I'm watching YouTube videos. Or, I don't know, whatever, playing games or I don't know, whatever it is. Time is going. It's time I asked myself, what do I want this time to be dedicated to? But I'm in this mad chase of happiness. Oh, the new video, the new trends, and all the time, it's this. If you go to any social media, they'll tell you trending. So everybody's seeing it, so you should see it now. I'm sure that horrible video must be trending. I too frightened to even look at it. I don't know if it's there or they removed it. You know how that chap shot somebody on Facebook Live? Can you believe this? What must be his mental condition to do this? Have you ever thought of that? How upset, how agitated, how, I don't know, like what mental condition what must be his emotions? How horrible he must be feeling, how angry, how agitated to actually go and do this. And all that, sadness or depression, I know, whatever negative feelings he had have now been dumped onto somebody else because he's killed some son of his parents, some husband of some wife, and made a spectacle for curious people to say, oh, what happened? What happened? Like a tamasha. But it is somebody's pain. Shocking that things can reach such a state. And these are not by any ordinary people. These are people who are supposed to be governing us. That is the condition. So my life is important for what, if anything? All the time I'm in pursuit of pleasure and my reputation and my votes and my, I don't know what all things in this world. And the consequences, I have shot somebody and myself. Janma mrityu vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. Mahesh, you can sit down. Mahesh is here with me in Dubai, as is Pranesh and Monish, Monish has organized this whole trip. I don't know how many of you remember Monish from our JVPD class. All those who were in that class will remember him. So, what is the value of my life? What am I spending it on? I am believing that there's some big, massive joy here that everybody has that I don't have, and I'm chasing it. You come here, you see it. All the Lexus, all the BMW, all the Mercs. You come here, you say, oh, wow, look at that. Mahesh is making his way to the Dubai Mall because he heard so much about it. He's going to go there and I don't know what, buy a Lexus. I don't know what he plans to do over there. But whatever he does plan to do, the feeling you get is, I have to get this, I have to get this, I have to get this. Okay, get it, then what? Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, doshanu darshanam. Do you see the dukkha dosha in it? You see the dukkha dosha in life itself. So this verse told us detachment towards sense objects, detachment towards ego, and detachment towards life itself. That was verse 9. Now verse 10. Asaktiranabhishwangaha putradaragruhadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishtopapatishu. Asaktiranabhishwangaha putradaragruhadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishtopapatishu. Asakti. Sakta is to be attached. Asakta, no attachment, non-attachment. Anabhishwangaha. Na sangaha. Na abhishwangaha. Non-infatuation. With what? Putra dara gruhadishu. With the son, with the wife, with the home, etc. Adi. Nityam cha samachittatvam. Samachitta. Samachitta means a balance of mind. When ishta, anishta, upapattishu. In the ishta and anishta. What is dear and what is not dear. In any happenings, upapatti, whatever has come, whatever has happened. Samachittam, balance of mind. As you would say, okay, balance of mind is very good, but he's not said balance of mind. If you notice, he said nityam samachittatvam. Why nityam? Because all of us are balanced at some point or the other. Even a lunatic is balanced at some point. So being balanced is not enough. How constant, how steady is that balance? That balance of us, we are very balanced. Most of us have very good lives. Everything is going very well. 90% of the time, we are all good. And then what? Then something has to happen. The moment something happens, all hell breaks loose. Nityam samachittatvam. Constantly balanced. So let's see now. Last time he told us, be detached from all these. Now he's talking about the various attachments. What are the attachments? First is just general attachment. You're attached to every single thing. Attachment means you've just gone and bound yourself to it. If you travel, you have to take it with you. Otherwise, you can't travel also. Sometimes you see, people when they're traveling, they behave like they're shifting houses. What all they have to carry? Some people have to carry a photographs also to put on their mantle. Why do you need it? What all you need to carry? It's an interesting idea, right? If you have to travel, what all do you need to carry? People come and stay at our house. It's very interesting. Bhavna came and stayed. She had such a small bag. I thought, is she sure she's staying the night? What is she going to wear? She just one haversack and she came. What do you need if you were to go somewhere? I remember people, sometimes you go somewhere and people say, where's your bag? You say, here's the bag. Say, what do you mean this is the bag? Where is the real bag? There's no real bag. This is the bag. Swamiji used to give us this great example of a boy who used to live in Chinmay Mission when he was there. And when they used to come into the city and all, he had no bag at all. He would wear his jeans and his t-shirt and no bag. How can you go and live over there with no bag? There's no, here's my toothbrush and here's my underwear. They're both in my pocket. How do you live then? There'll be a sheet over there. So when I want to wash my jeans, I'll wear the sheet. I'll wash the jeans if they don't, and then up till that point, I'll wear my trunks. It's fine. Nothing. And then Swami Chinmananda used to, so he knew that this guy was like this. And all of us teach him, come on, get your bag and come, we're in a rush, let's go. And he'd say, I'm fine, because what is he supposed to say? And, Swamiji was very naughty, so he would always be teasing him. But that guy, he would travel around the world like that. He was on the ship somewhere, and then he came and then he heard about Chinmay Mission, the Pavai ashram, and he arrived there. Arrived with nothing. Same thing like this. He arrived like that. And he stayed there 1 year. How much do you need to take with you? Please, this is not an instruction to take nothing with you. This is the conceptually. How many things am I tied to? Simple. Can you leave your house without your cell phone? Cell phone has become an appendage. It's become, we're so attached to it now, they're trying to put it directly in our brains only. So that we never have to leave it behind. I don't know what happens if they put that chip in your brain and then somebody calls you when you're sleeping, then how do you switch it off? I don't know. Otherwise, you're sleeping and nowadays all over the world, people anytime, anywhere, anything. Now we can just switch it off and go to sleep. What happens then? Probably have to just have a button here or something, switch it off. How much do you need before you feel you're okay? How much do you need? It's an important question to ask ourselves, right? Why can't I be okay with nothing and yet have everything? Having things is a convenience. Why not have them? So that would be the ideal life. You need nothing and you have everything. Like this beautiful room they have given me to stay in. Very nice room. But no, not convenient. But now if this room is not available tomorrow, am I going to start crying over it? Similarly, every possession we have of beautiful things, let's have them. But should something happen by which they are not there, you don't need to crumble. Otherwise, all of life is just that chase for the next better thing. Anabhishwangaha putra dara gruhadisho. Non-attachment towards putra dara gruha. Son, wife, home. One of the biggest attachments in this world is son. You might dump your spouse, but you can't dump your child. Biggest attachment. So you can take it literally as your putra and your spouse and your home. You can take it literally, or you can take it philosophically. What is a putra? Putra is a product. The son is a product. What is it a product of? Of something you are wedded to. So an architect may be wedded to architecture, and their product maybe the buildings that they have built. So whatever you have, whatever you're wedded to, as a musician, you may be wedded to your art, and your product will be your songs. As a Swami, you may be wedded to your subject, and your putra will be all your students. So whatever you are wedded to, and the product of that. And home is where that thing happens, like the ashram, or your office, or wherever, the place where this thing is taking place. So not being attached. It's not even not being attached. His word is not being infatuated. Infatuation. What is infatuation? Why you give something so much importance that all sense and sensibility has vanished. I mean, there's nothing left called sensible in that relationship. Have you seen people do that? You give an object or a being so much importance Like some people give money so much importance. So every single decision that they take is from the perspective of money. How much will it cost me? That is the single most important thing. Everything else is out of focus. For some people, my family is my focus. So every decision they take, the perspective is from the family, wife or child or something like that. Some people nowadays, a lot of them, are from the perspective of health. So and I give you these examples because this is what I'm associated with. So I can think of these examples. You can think of any other one you like. Now we have to go hunt for plots, so many plots. You have to keep going, seeing we go in the back or beyond somewhere to hunt for a plot. Do you think you get nice salads and low-cal meals and vegan food? You get all this over there. When you go over there, you eat batata vada, samosa, because that is what you will get. Now, can you imagine saying, I want to go look for the plot because over there you can only eat batata vada? Everything you see from the perspective of health, as if health is the be-all and end-all of everything. So everything, some people look upon everything from the perspective of reputation. What will people say if I do this? Such people will actually commit wrong acts to make people think that they're good people. Sometimes you may perform an action that makes other people think you're bad, but actually you've done the right action. Will you do it, or will you say, no, my reputation is most important? So what is infatuation? Infatuation is like a funnel you create, and you can only see everything from that perspective. You just can't see anything else. It is the opposite of using your intellect. Identification, yes, you can say identification, but you'll have to say very narrow identification. I mean, extremely narrow. So much that it's like blinkers. You just can't see anything other than that. No other factor counts. Only this one factor counts. How much it costs, maybe. Something like that. So you would sacrifice your health to not get good food because how much it costs. Or you will sacrifice your money to buy the right healthy food because all you're looking at is whether this food is healthy or not. But life can't be lived like that. At any point, you have 50 factors to consider. How can you decide based on one thing? Some people decide based on, oh, but you can't say anything rudely to anybody. Can't say anything rudely to anybody. Very often in life, you may have to. No, but you shouldn't talk like that. No. Infatuation, where you're able to see just one part of that picture. Zoom in picture. Yes, it's so zoom in that your understanding of the reality goes. So that's what he's talking about, non-infatuation. That only that is all you can look at. Some people look at everything from the perspective of their religion or church or something like that. It's very frightening when people start behaving like that. And that's how you get all these extremists. They're looking at it from only that perspective. And so obviously, if you look at it from that perspective, you will do extreme actions. And that's true of everybody, not just people who look at it from a religious keyhole. Anybody looking at it from any keyhole will do stupid things. And nityam. Okay, so first one is being mentally bound to objects and beings. That is attachment. Second one is taking one step further. Non-infatuation with wife, son, or home. whatever you are doing. And third one here is constant balance of mind in the desirable and undesirable happenings. So you have many, many things to understand from this one. What are this? Firstly, that there will be desirable and non-desirable happenings. That's the first thing to understand. Isn't that obvious? Amitabh Bachchan says that Harchand Rai Bachchan said to him that if things go by your wish, it's great. And if it doesn't go by your wish, then it's even better. Because if it's not going by your wish, it is going by divine wish. I thought that was an interesting thing to say. If it's not going by your wish, it's going by the divine wish. And the divine wish is more sensible than your wish. And this is a poetical way of saying that different things will happen. Things which are conducive to whatever you're doing, things which are not conducive to whatever you're doing. Your job is to keep doing. Just go on. That's all. Okay, I'm on this new thing, so I no longer know how to. Where is?
We can ask questions if it's difficult to spot, Sankiti.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I think I found it.
What's the difference between attachment and infatuation?
What is it between detachment?
Between attachment and infatuation is what she does.
Between attachment and infatuation, is that the question?
Yes.
Okay. Attachment is bad. Infatuation is worse. A higher form of attachment can be considered infatuation. In this verse, he's used it first in the general sense, and then he's made it a little more, what should I say, practical for us. Because when you say unattached, it's like, if you say unattached, you will include not infatuated, obviously, because if you're not even attached, how will you be infatuated? But sometimes it just does, it's not clear to us. So he's been specific. So you're not looking at things from the perspective of only one thing. That's infatuation. Like infatuation, okay, in common layman language, a boy and a girl fall in love. So they get married or whatever. They have a relationship. They are attached to each other. Infatuation is one of them has gone completely mad, and the other one, even if the other one is not interested, they will still, do stupid things. So it's like a one level higher. But as far as the verse is concerned, it is trying to make it a little more practical for us. Because we may not understand attachment to objects and beings, which basically covers everything. So then he says, to your son, home, and wife, which you then extrapolate and say, okay, so who is my son? It's a higher degree of attachment.
Sankiti, one question. So in infatuation, has the delusion set in place or it's leading there?
Or it's?
Leading there. It's getting there. Can you hear me?
In infatuation is much more than attachment. I mean, attachment is a whole stream, right? It just gets worse and worse and worse. But even if it is not very bad, you can still call it attachment. But when you call it infatuation, you're showing the other end of the stream, which has gone much worse. Like in attachment, like a boy and a girl, they like each other, they are attached to each other, all that sort of thing. And they can have some kind of reasonable, normal relationship. Jaise sabki hoti hai, they will have. They'll do little fighting, little making up, all this stuff will go on. In infatuation, it's like attachment gone to such a level that you cannot even appreciate the fact that that person is not interested in you. That also you cannot understand. I know one girl like that. I remember her. I don't know whether to feel sad or feel amazed or what. I think I feel a bit of both. There was a boy, very, very charming, handsome, good family, good looking, rich. She was much richer than them, of course, but maybe not as good looking compared to him, and certainly not even as balanced. I mean, she was not completely balanced. And the way that girl chased that boy, he's not interested. He's telling, I'm not interested. Obviously, he won't be interested. Just wouldn't let go. She drove herself, the boy, and everybody involved in this completely nuts. Just, I think somebody is not interested in you. Just, you're not interested in some people. Somebody can be interested in us, and we are not interested in them, right? So therefore, other people have the right to not be interested in us if they're not. No, she drove the whole world crazy. So infatuation can really be crazy. And all these terrorists and all who believe in their cause, that's what's happened. Infatuated with their religion. Or some people take up wars infatuated with their country.
So is it a state of delusion then?
Yes, the whole thing is a state of delusion. It's all a matter of degree. You and I are also in delusion. It's just a matter of degree. Little bit, Swamiji has this lovely, he draws this thing on the board. He says there's a river, and in that river there are these tributaries. And that river is a raging river. But all of us are in the tributary, approaching the raging river. And we don't seem to know this. So we are playing around in that tributary, not realizing that 1 or 2 steps more we take will be in the raging river. Sometimes because of luck, we come back into the treasuries, into the tributary. Sometimes we fall off into the river. So I don't know, I may have drawn that diagram for you. I'm certainly not going to attempt it today, but you must have seen it sometime or the other. So we are all in delusion. The question is always degree. So is it delusion? Yes, both attachment as well as infatuation. Infatuation is a higher level of it, higher degree of it.
Yes, thank you.
Whiskey versus vodka. Sorry, you have to explain that to me. This is out of my range of knowledge. I thought it was something else. One of them must have more alcohol content, I assume. So yeah, so if one has more alcohol content, then that's correct. Is this an example? Abraham, infatuated with his son Isaac, and so for his own good was asked to sacrifice him. Yes, that's an example. But that is an example of how to get out of the infatuation. But yes, he supposedly infatuated. I mean, whether he was I'm not that familiar. I'm trying to remember now what was the story, whether it showed attachment or infatuation. I can't actually remember. But in either case, the solution is the same. In either case, in every case, the solution is please move the mind to something higher. Anything but move it. In every case, that is the solution. But it's the one solution that we are so frightened of. We are not frightened of falling into that raging river and bringing our life to complete mess. We're not frightened of this. But we're terribly frightened of taking up something higher. And that's why in English also they say, fools rush in where angels fear to tread. You see, you give one glorious path, given to us. Just follow this path, you'll come to happiness. Nobody wants to try this. But look at these hoardings over here. Everybody wants to try those. I think we need a better marketing department. Omkar, you better attend to it. We need better marketing around here. Our marketing seems to be very bad. We tell people, here is a beautiful thing, and they say, no, I don't know whether I should take this or not. And other people say, here is a beautiful thing, everybody's rushing to take it.
Janki, we are not infatuated and obsessed with what we are doing. I think that is the difference. we may be at that. So we are not doing the hard sell, hard marketing, as you say. But just a joke, like you're saying.
But please be careful, because we should be doing the hard marketing and hard sell. Not because we're infatuated, but because we're trying to stop people from ruining their lives. For every life that is ruined, it is us at fault, because we had the answer, but we were not able to deliver it. Can you imagine if you had the cure to cancer and you couldn't deliver it to the people? Or you had the cure to COVID, people are dying under COVID. You have the cure, but you can't deliver it. I mean, I don't know, it's like a tragedy going on. That you try to hold people and say, take it. I'm giving it free. No, I don't want it. But you know what will happen to you? As this thing develops, it will become, no, I'm okay. And then you just stand there in some kind of, okay, fine. What can one say? Let's just find a better way of saying it. What else can you do, right? Is infatuation short-term attachment? Not necessarily. Basically, it is just a form of blindness. So how long it will last, we can't say. It may last long, it may last short. I mean, it may be like, a boy in college likes a girl, 10 days he likes her, then 11th day he likes somebody else. Could be short term. Or it could be long term, such as you're so obsessed with your religion or your intellectual idea, whatever you have, like capitalism or communism or something. And it's a long term thing. So how long it lasts is doesn't come within this definition. Okay. Mani Ramalingam. When it comes to God, love, or spirituality, there is also infatuation. There is the worst form of infatuation, where every bit of sense and sensibility can go away. Because now you not only are infatuated, you have convinced yourself that this is the highest form of everything. Only infatuation brought enlightenment to Meera, Andal, Tukaram, etc. No, not at all. Infatuation would have taken them there, taken them in the opposite direction. Infatuation means that your intellect has been completely switched off. No accomplishment is ever possible under this situation. Now, we may understand people who are dedicated to their goal as being infatuated. That's the problem in our understanding. But if they are infatuated, there is no way they're achieving it. So can we say infatuation for higher purposes is right? You can't say that except as a poetic license. We take that, right? We say attached to the higher. It's a poetic license you take. When you say attached to the higher, you detach from the lower. This is a poetic license. But attachment is defined as an indiscriminate thought flow. Indiscriminate thought flow. Under no condition is it supposed to be there. No condition. When we are talking about it technically. I thought I saw something from Captain Pratap, but I don't see it here. God knows what is going on. Okay, if you have a question, just say it so that I can hear you at least.
Hari Om, Janki ji, can I say?
Yes, please do.
Hari Om. It is like Jnani Yogi loves God, Karm Yogi attached to the God, and Bhakti Yogi is infatuated with the God. Does it make sense?
Not if you're using Vedanta jargon, but you could say that otherwise. I mean, the thing is, we are studying a technical subject, so each word has its own definition. Now, when you talk about it poetically, you can have all this poetic license and say whatever you like, and you'd be right. I mean, if your concept is right, you'll be right. And you can probably say the concept in many kind of contradictory ways. And many poets do that. But as students of a technical subject called Vedanta, attachment has certain definition. Love has a certain definition. Infatuation has a certain definition. No yogi can ever have any of these. What they do have is an identification with a higher cause. When they do this in terms of work, it becomes service. When they do it in terms of emotions, it becomes love. And when they do it in terms of discrimination, it becomes knowledge. So depends on what you're doing. I mean, in the technical way, it is impossible for a yogi to have any kind of attachment or infatuation or moha, because all these are the antidote to infatuation or moha. Now, when you're struggling to reach a higher goal, your mind cannot make this struggle. Your intellect has to do the struggle. So if it's indiscriminate, there is nothing higher in it. By definition, mind goes to the known, intellect goes to the unknown. So you're going to the unknown, you're going to the higher.
Thank you. It's clear, much better now. Thank you, Jan.
All right, so
Janaki ji,
yeah.
So whenever there is an infatuation, there is a lack of intelligence.
Yes, a lack of intellect is infatuation. Attachment, infatuation, delusion, these are all different words signifying different degrees or types of lack of intellectual application. When you, like, for in English also you have different words, right? So suppose you're infatuated with your work, then it will be called
Workaholic.
But you're infatuated with alcoholic, with alcohol, then you'll be alcoholic. So you use, because you can't say the same words over and over, and anyway they're shades of meaning. So all these words, delusion, moha, infatuation, attachment, all of these likes and dislikes, desires, they're all in one basket, and intellect is in another basket. So that's this about this likes and dislikes is what this third point was about. So they're all three basically, sort of around the same thing. And eventually, when you do it technically, you just split it up into mind and intellect. Mind does everything wrong, intellect does everything right. But that also is not, because there's no right and wrong. It is just things that will get you in trouble and things that will not get you into trouble. So, what are desirable and undesirable happenings? Desirable, what I want to happen. Undesirable, what I don't want to happen. Now, we believe our likes and dislikes are very important. Why do we think so? No intellect. So if I think getting a chocolate ice cream is more important than getting a vanilla ice cream, for instance, then my husband brings me chocolate, vanilla, but I want chocolate. And I will get very upset. How dare you bring it? Ishta, anishta. What you like, what you don't like. What is desirable, what is not desirable. It is not possible for us to have desirable happenings all times. It is not desirable to always have the desirable. Because your personality, your intellect is sharpened by the rough edges of life. If everything was so smooth for us, in our brain there are ridges, right? It's not one smooth ball like that. There are ridges. Even your brain has got ridges, telling you as a philosophical lesson.
16 of them.
Huh?
16 of them.
Okay. As a philosophical lesson, it has to have ups and downs, or it won't work. It simply won't work. Okay, so that's